Ranking Member Graves, Chairman DeFazio, and Ranking Member Graves, for the opportunity to testify today. On behalf of Airlines for America and its members, the country's leading passenger and cargo carriers, we appreciate the committee's leadership and focus on this timely issue of shutdown impacts and potential solutions. We also want to sincerely thank those federal employees who went to work every day during the partial shutdown, even though they were not being compensated. This includes our partners at the FAA, TSA, and CBP. Despite significant and prolonged hardship, they kept the U.S. aviation system operating, and they ensured the safety and security of the traveling and shipping public. We all are extremely grateful to our association and the carriers. We are all extremely grateful, and our association and carriers were pleased to be able to make significant contributions to the nonprofit groups that were assisting federal employees as they suffered through this hardship. Chairman Larson, as you noted, and Ranking Member Graves, as you noted, this is at least the fourth shutdown that these workers have suffered since 2011 through two different administrations. I know we are here to memorialize the impacts of this shutdown, and we should, but our hope is that we come out of this united in an effort to make sure that this never happens again. That should be our goal for today and going forward. So Chairman DeFazio and Chairman Larson, we want to thank you specifically for your leadership in putting forward a solution that would keep the FAA fully funded and operational with paid employees, thereby alleviating the serious impacts repeatedly experienced by the entire aviation industry. H.R. 1108 and Chairman DeFazio, you for your past efforts to redirect diverted TSA revenues are greatly appreciated. And frankly, there is a silver lining here. Everyone at this table supports the legislation, and the entire industry is galvanized and united as never before. I would be remiss not to mention and thank Secretary Chow at the Department of Transportation and Acting Administrator Elwell for all they did to guarantee that the FAA continued to operate safely, and I stress safely and as efficiently as possible for the traveling and shipping public. For air travel, the impact of the shutdown was particularly acute. While my written testimony contains a broader list of impacts that the shutdown had on our industry, and both Mr. Rinaldi and Mr. Perrone have laid forth many of those impacts, I want to mention just a few. Alaska Airlines had to delay the start of commercial service from Payne Field in Washington, forcing already booked travelers to go back through Seattle. Southwest has new service to Hawaii. It's been delayed. That means less competition and fewer options until the airline can gain FAA approval, which is now delayed. Federal inspectors were not being paid, reducing the amount of oversight of the industry. Hiring new pilots into the workforce and promoting existing pilots was also frozen since the FAA was not able to process the required checks nor issue new pilot certificates. This is particularly harmful to the regional airlines who are having workforce issues. I endorse everything Mr. Rinaldi said. I can't say anything better about the impact on the air traffic controllers. Just a couple of more overt impacts that are not that visible to the public. New planes were not able to be put into service. Collaborative planning for the summer season, which takes place every year and is critically important to how we handle convective issues in the summer, just like snow in the winter, has not taken place and is behind schedule. We will feel the impact of that come this summer. We won't realize it's happened because of the shutdown. So with that, I'm going to move on and just say, in closing, we've talked about NextGen. The start and stop on NextGen is considerable. Every time the government shuts down, we have to turn off these projects. It has a real impact, and it's cumulative over the years, and you can't make it up. You can't just flick the switch back on. This most recent shutdown, it's over 1/12 of the entire year. So again, Mr. Chairman, members of this committee, we can't allow this to happen again. We've got a $6 billion trust fund. The money gets paid into that trust fund whether the government is operating or not. We ought to move forward and find a solution to this. Your legislation is a start. A4A will support any solution that works so that we don't have to worry about another shutdown. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Calio. I now recognize for 5 minutes Sarah Nelson.